Have you been seeing this bald man with Tourette's screaming at an 8-year-old video game
Cardiac, sensor deployed.
and wanted to try it out yourself only to discover that you're actual dog shit at the game? Well, today I'm going to give you 5 tips that you can use as a beginner in Siege in order to improve and embarrass yourself less on the scoreboard. Let's get started. My first tip is to fix your sensitivity. So many new players I see just looking around like absolute bots and then, trying to flick onto someone and missing completely and then spraying at a wall where no one is. Having a good sensitivity is vital in Siege. Now, I have a video on how to find your perfect sensitivity, but there are also plenty of others. I'm sure your favorite Siege YouTuber has a video about their sensitivity if you want to try theirs out. But my main tip is to try and make your sensitivity feel like Call of Duty. You want to feel like you can run around and gun and shoot, even though that isn't really what Siege is about. Being able to feel like you can do that is going to make you feel more comfortable within the game. Now, don't change your sensitivity too often. Having a consistent sensitivity is going to allow you to develop those unconscious reactions where you can just flick to something and know you're going to hit it without having to think about it too much. And also, don't think you have to have a high sensitivity to be good at Siege. My duo Eliscus, he plays on a super low sensitivity and he is still very good at the game. So find the sensitivity that works for you. Don't worry about, trying to work up to having 90-90 vertical horizontal sensitivity. Find the sense that works for you and stick with it. I promise it will improve over time. Tip number 2 is to learn how to drone. Remember, information is king in Siege, and droning is the safest way to get that information. But there are a couple common mistakes that I see new players make. One is not droning at all. They just, they stay on their phone in prep phase, and then they just try and rush into the building and go off of sight. That's not going to work out too well for you. The second most common mistake I see is droning too much. You stay on your drone for, 45 seconds, and by doing that, the information that you got on the drone is now invalid. It's outdated. That person that you saw 20 seconds ago probably not going to be there anymore. They're going to have moved. The entire situation could have changed. What I recommend is intermittent droning. So you get on your drone, you drone out a room, you clear it, you get into that room, and then, now this is vital, act off of that intel that you get from droning. Don't just drone an enemy and then, push a totally opposite way, because now you're pushing in blind. You know there's someone to your left, but you don't know anything about your right. You might as well go to the left, take that gunfight, take the path that you have the most information for. Tip number 3, play every round like it's winnable, because it is. There's so many times we get into lobbies with new players and it gets down to like a 2v4 or a 1v3 or something, and they just give up on the round. They sit in a corner and just wait for people to push them. That's not how you're going to win games. You don't need to give up on a round just because you're down in numbers. Remember, Siege is a one-shot headshot game. A comeback is always possible. Even in like a 1v5, you have 10 health left, doesn't matter. You hit 5 headshots, you win the round. You might as well try. Sitting in a corner and just hoping they all rush you and you get free headshots, that's not going to win you the game. You got to push. You got to be a little bit more aggressive. You have to believe in yourself that you can win the round. Don't play scared in Siege. That's going to get you slammed every single time. Being aggressive, especially when you're down players, is an advantage because it's what your opponents least expect from you in that situation. They expect you to play scared. They expect you to sit in a corner and waste time until there's basically no chance of you winning. But by playing aggressive, trying to get the numbers back to even, that's how you're going to come back and win rounds. My fourth tip is to learn operator interactions. Learn how the operators interact with each other with their gadgets and abilities. So for instance, the enemy team keeps bringing Dokkaebi every round. As a new player, you might not know mute is a counter to Dokkaebi. If you sit in a mute jammer, the Dokkaebi calls won't affect you. Interactions like that are what can give you an advantage over your opponent. Also, learn what operators work better as a pair. Operators like Thermite and Thatcher to breach a wall, Maverick and Glaz to use his smokes in a way that give Glaz the advantage, Ying and Fuse to blind enemies before you blow up a bomb site. castle in a Rooney to give an extra layer of protection after they break down the castle. Learning what kind of operators work well together will help you create team cohesion, and it makes it a lot easier to just work together as a team. And you should also learn why you should bring certain operators in certain situations. Don't just blindly pick an operator because like you like their gun. Maybe if we're going to try and go for a plant, someone like Lion or Capitao might be better than, say, bringing a Blitz or a Blackbeard. You know, bring what helps the situation that you're trying to pull off. I'm not saying you have to sacrifice your KD every round, but sometimes it's more important to win the round than to just go for frags. And the fifth and final tip is to become familiar with the maps and learn callouts. Knowing maps gives you more confidence when roaming around. I know when I first started playing, it felt like enemies could come around from any corner. I didn't know what was going to happen. But now when I'm playing, I know like okay, I'm on garage on Clubhouse. I know where people can push me from here, where the common spots are. So at least I know I don't have to stare at a doorway wondering if someone's going to come from there. I know, usually people don't push from here. It's probably safe to move here with just a face check. I don't have to get on cams yet. And also, knowing callouts will vastly improve your gameplay. Knowing, when someone calls out a specific location and being able to instantly know what they're talking about is way more effective than your teammate saying something and you being completely lost, or you die from somewhere and you tell your teammates, oh, he's right there, or he's on my dead body. That's not helpful. Being able to say, he's swamp, he's trench, he's boiler room, that's going to help you improve your gameplay and improve how you play as a team. Your communication's going to go up, you're going to be more aware of your surroundings, and you're going to feel a lot more confident going into the map. Map knowledge gives you a greater understanding of the game and helps you learn player behavior. You kind of know these are the common spots people push from, these are the walls they want to take on attack, this is how we want to defend this site. Knowing all that stuff is what builds your game IQ in Siege and helps you become a better player, gets you out of silver, gets you up to emerald or diamond. So those are 5 beginner tips for Siege. I hope these guys help you in your journey to becoming a better Siege player. If you want more specific strategies, be sure to check out my channel. I've got playlists, I've got links to different duo, solo queue strategies, different ways you can play the game in order to win more rounds. But that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.